It's your girl, Vida Star. I'm Black with Vida Star. So tonight I'm going to be playing all songs that are socially conscious or political hip-hop songs. The reason why I'm doing that tonight is because I want to get into some real issues. We have a lot going on right now, and I feel like nobody's playing or making it. I won't say making, because there's plenty of people making good music. There's no one playing that real music that we need to hear right now at this trying time. Economically, we are just falling apart. And you know what happens when things fall economically? Socially, things fall apart as well. So that's increasing crime, a decrease in education, which of course also leads to an increase in crime. And that affects us, each and every one of us, on a daily basis. So it's going to cause us more problems that we're going to have to face with more money. So at any rate, caller 201, you listen to On Blast with Vida Star, with your girl, Vida Star. State your name, where you're from.
What's good, Vida? This is Aronic from New Jersey. 9 Leaves representing the building.
Special guest. I'm so glad you called in. I was concerned because I missed you guys last week.
I said I would. I'm sorry I missed it last week, but, week 3, it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now out here, so, man's got to get his sleep. But I made sure I stay up for this one. I wasn't going to miss it the second time around.
Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm going to take a break real quick and get into a song. This is one of my favorite tracks. This was suggested to me through Facebook. So let me play this. It's called Day Schools by Dead
Why
Friends.
haven't you learned anything?
Man, that school shit is a joke. The same people who control the school system control the prison system. And I love education, you know what I'm saying? But if education ain't elevating me, and you know what I'm saying, it ain't taking me where I need to go out some bullshit, then fuck education, you know what I'm saying? At least day shit. Matter of fact, my nigga, this whole school system could suck my dick. Bitch!
Vida Star.
I love that thing. You know what? I think that song's a very powerful song. It's a very strong song because I guess it could be considered radical, but at the same time they make a lot of strong points. Now I'm not one that said everyone should be violent against the teachers. No, I'm not one that says you shouldn't get an education. I would never say that. But there's some things to think about. And sometimes it's okay to have that mentality in the back of your mind as you go forward in your life, just to kind of have that little revolutionary spirit.
Most definitely. Dead Prez has been doing their thing. And that record, especially that last statement by Stickman on the end, really speaks to what people are frustrated with in the school system, is that they're learning stuff that doesn't apply to their real lives. No one's teaching them how to maintain their credit. No one's teaching them how to pay their rent, or get ahead in the school system.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have a comment that was sent to me through AIM right now. But one thing he commented on, I believe it was to what Spoke said earlier, in regards to music being something to keep you, happy or whatever, during these hard times so you can forget those bad things. And one thing this person said to me was, one thing you got to remember is that Bob Marley once said, once the music hits, you feel no pain. So that music is almost a form of Novocaine to real life. How do you guys feel about that comment?
I think with the music, there's a certain responsibility that artists have. People forget that music back in the day was education first. That's where people in the street got the education, because we didn't get it from the schools. So we got it from people like Bob Marley. We got it from people like Gil Scott-Heron and other people who dropped knowledge in the music. You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of us got our education. That's how I got my education, was listening to rap records and listening to records that was really spitting something. But we lost that. And, yes, it was an escape, but it was also your way to really figure out what's going on, because you weren't going to get it from CNN or the daily news channels. You know what I mean?
There's actually a good comment I got from somebody on AIM right now. They said, I think people forget for every Gil Scott-Heron or James Brown, there was a Jive or Diana Ross. What do you guys think about that?
What I think that person fails to recognize is it doesn't have to be one or the other. People like James Brown still had people shaking their asses to I'm Black and I'm Proud. They were still playing Jesus Walks in the club. They were still playing, Public Enemy in the club. Like, there's ways, if you're a really talented artist, to play socially conscious
Public Enemy in the club? How do you figure out the Public Enemy? Jesus.
911, Fight the Power.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like 4 when that came out, so I wasn't at the club.
But you best believe that was in the club back then. What I'm saying is that, like, don't sell yourself short and think that just because you're making a socially conscious record that it's not going to have viability as a pop record. You know what I mean? You can still make a socially conscious record that still pops and still makes people dance. There's a lot of records on that first College Dropout album that was playing in the club that had some serious messages. You know what I mean? But he got away from that. But at that time, those records were popping. Even Gold Digger.
And you know what, though? At the same time, I don't feel like we need to hear music complaining either. I don't think we need to hear some music that's empowering. To me, that's the bigger that's the bigger thing. You know, it's not.
But
just
that's all on the artist.
No, true. But I'm saying in general, like I just think we need to hear some. I mean, I love political hip hop. I mean, you guys know that. I listen to Mortal Technique, Dead Prez. I mean, you name it. That's political, especially if it's the angrier the better. You know, so I like that. But at the same time, you know, I like, and sometimes it is empowering. It makes you feel like, damn, things are messed up. Let me get out there and really get into this. You know what I mean? Let me get out there and make a difference. Let me get out there and make a change because, I mean, this is a real issue. And then sometimes some stuff just really does just make you depressed. So, I mean, how does an artist, you know, really how does an artist put something out there that's empowering and makes a difference, makes a change and pump you up without necessarily making you feel more depressed about the situation that's already going on? And you can go ahead and start, Aronic.
Like I said before, if you go to certain records, just because you have a positive outlook on what your message is going to be in that song, doesn't mean the production has to be any worse. Doesn't mean that your delivery has to be any more angry. You know what I mean? You don't have to make an angry, radical record to have a socially conscious message. Tribe Called Quest did it year in and year out. You know what I mean? There's a lot of artists that did it with viable records on the mainstream level, because musically they kept it to what the fans wanted musically. You know what I mean? They still had the catchy hooks. They still had the upbeat tempos. They still had the rhythm. They still had the melodies that the people wanted. It was on every other aspect, technique-wise, musically, it was a pop record, except the message that they were talking about. And that's the last thing that people are going to listen to anyway on a record. They're going to bop to the record. They're going to bop to the flow. They're going to like the beat. You know, after like 3-4 listens, they're going to start paying attention to what the song is about. You know what I mean? Talking about you got kilos in your trunk and you got, you know, people down in Miami and you selling coke here, you selling coke there, isn't going to make the record any more, you know, danceable in the club. You know what I mean? You just got to change the content, so keep the production pop-worthy.
You know what? I think that's a really good point because I'm the same way. People always try to say that it's always about the lyrics, but to be honest with you, if I don't like the flow and the sound of the song, I can't even get to the lyrics. So I think you're absolutely right with that. I'm going to take another break. I got another track I wanted to play. I already had this up on my playlist, but since Aronic mentioned it, I'm going to go ahead and play it. Public Enemy, 911.
Hit me!
There's not a minute to spare.
Don't worry.
There's not a minute to spare. There's not a minute to spare.
All right, y'all. That was Public Enemy 911 as a joke. I forgot who that was suggested by on Facebook. It might have actually been Stang, but he's recommended a lot of songs, so I don't remember.